Back in the day, Barnes Nohbles had some pretty decent tablets. Now today they've got the new Nook 9-inch tablet. It's actually technically the Lenovo 9-inch tablet, the Lenovo Tab M9. And then the specific model number is right here. It's TB310FU. And I'm not saying that to you guys, that's the model number for anyone who's not watching on the screen right now. It has 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, with the option to put a micro SD card for expansion, but only another 64 gig card, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they limited it to that, but either way, it mentions that it has a 9-inch HD display. Now, one thing is that the screen is kind of weird. It's like an HD Plus screen, like 1300 something. A quad-core processor, supposedly all-day battery life, Dolby Atmos, thin and light style design, and it has a MediaTek processor, as usual. In the box, you got the tablet itself here. Gonna put that to the side. It does have kind of an interesting, more of a square type feel, but it does feel kind of nice. It looks like it's made of metal. Got the pin here to get to the micro SD card, the user guide, along with a warranty guide too. Here's some info if you want to stop and go to the website here or read this for the warranty. USB-A to USB-C cable along with a wall outlet. Power button is textured while the volume button is not. It makes it a little easier to distinguish the two when you're not looking at it. Then there's a speaker grill on the top here, so it feels like it's going to be a little bit more immersive. Bezels here aren't too thick, but they're not thin either. I guess they are kind of thick for today's standards. Still not bad for a tablet. There's the front camera in the middle there, and then there's a rear 8 megapixel camera. The tablet has more of a neutral gray colored look. It's made of metal, has that Barnes Nohbles Nook logo on top, and this textured back, which I'm not sure why, and then with the Lenovo on the side there. Speaking of the side, got the micro SD card slot here. A 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. That's becoming more and more rare in 2024. A USB-C port, a speaker grill, nothing on the right side. Well, wait, there's the power button and volume keys. There is some bloatware here. Not too surprising. It's like Barnes & Noble stuff. Netflix is downloaded, and so is Solitaire. I guess this stuff did get downloaded once I connected to Wi-Fi, and then Booking.com. That's so random. Thankfully, these things can be uninstalled if need be, because I'm never going to use that app. And yeah, nothing else besides that. This is running Android 13, so that's a little more dated compared to the other options that are out there now that do have Android 14. But besides that, the show must go on. Camera doesn't seem like it's anything too special, but it does have a quick shutter here. Let's see how it came out. Okay, I guess that's a little better than expected. Still, there's a decent amount of noise, but I'll take it for a tablet. It also has a night mode, which did a pretty decent job here in my garage. There's still a lot of noise, as to be expected, but still impressive. In complete darkness, can't really see anything, so there's that. Here's the front camera. It seems like it's good enough for a Skype call. A little better than the average Joe of tablets. Not anything too special though. And then there's also like a beauty filter. Not sure if that was turned on or not. Don't really notice too much with the beauty filter. Actually, I can kind of see it. There's no acne on my face. That's noticeable. And out of the box, there's 46.18 gigs free, give or take a few megs, because I took a couple of pictures here. So that's not bad at all. A few more things that are different here is One Vision, where you can easily have a split screen or floating window by using the 3 dots on top here. Now for this one, you're not going to be able to use split screen or floating window, which is kind of weird for not having a split screen in the settings function. But when you go into Chrome, let's say you want to split the screen, you can easily just press that, and you can have a secondary item here on the right side. To minimize it, you can just click minimize, and then minimize again. But the other way to do it is to just go from top to bottom to close an app. This is a Nook, so there is a reading mode here. Now this can change to a chromatic or slightly grayscale to chromatic, or mostly grayscale to slight chromatic, which is basically just making your screen mostly black and white. I mean, colors are still there, like on this, I can see the Model 3 here in red still. This kind of helps you focus on the actual text here. This can also be adjusted to be fully grayed to have the full grayscale effect, so there's no color whatsoever. There's even an auto. It's set effect according to, based on whatever app you might be on. It'll kind of change as is. We'll keep it off for now, because I do like the screen. It does seem pretty nice. Weird resolution, but it's not too pixelated. Pretty much what it is, but it still sucks having that.
but this one has a heatsink, so you don't have to worry about that
All right,
at
so
all.
the speakers are really good. They're amazing. They feel kind of immersive. It's not too tinny, and they do emit from both sides, so it can be covered with one finger or your hand if it's on the bottom here. Still not bad at all. As for the video, it's upscaled to 1440p, so it still looks nice. And you can also watch videos at HD 720p on streaming platforms because this does have wideband security of L1, so videos can be played at up to 1080p. Not on this one because because of the resolution. Here's a still shot from Netflix, the One Piece live action film, and this does look high definition to me at the very least out of 480, so that's like a nice improvement to finally see because some devices did have wideband L1, but it was still showing up as 480p, so I'm not sure why that was such a big issue. So big plus here, big props to them. The entertainment area is really nice. Now, in terms of performance, this seems to be a little on the lower side. The MT8786 is the CPU, and then the GPU is an ARM Mali G52 MC2. And then here's some more stuff. Although it seems like a kind of a low GPU or even CPU, it still performs great. And on top of that, the benchmark scores were like still low overall, but I guess not too bad for a tablet of this caliber. The single core score was at 418, and the multi-core score was at 1453 for this one. Then GPU score was around 534. This isn't really a fair comparison because, as it mentions here, one or more workloads have failed validation and have been assigned a score of 0. So I guess it's a little hard to determine. But either way, doing basic tasks here, I haven't really noticed too much slowdown, if any at all. And with 4 gigs of RAM, you can still multitask, but again, it is on the lower side, 4 gigs. But what better way to test out performance than to play a video game? This one right here is Runescape, not old school Runescape, and the graphics are set to the lowest it goes, except for the FPS rate, which is on top here. And so consistently, I still get around 30 or a little above when I'm close by. Looking around, it stays around 30. It does like drop to the 20s, or even 19 was the lowest I saw. Moving around, just looking around and everything, but still playable overall. Even getting the graphics up, adding the texturized details, it still performs decently, except when you zoom out, you do lose some more frames, so it does stay in the 20s or even 10s. I added quite a bit more in terms of graphics settings here, but with all of this here, it's going to get about the 20s or even teens. But if I turn off, let's say, the lighting detail and one or two more things, it should work just fine. All right, so leaving it at this, going back to the game here, should take just a moment to load, and we are seeing the 20s here. To each their own. This might or might not be playable, but since it doesn't really have any fast-paced stuff going on here, I would say this is just playable, just about playable. Next game here is Diablo Immortal, and this game seems to run pretty fine, no problems whatsoever. There might be some slight hiccups here or there, very slight, if any. And I'm not sure if this is well optimized for low-end devices. It seems like it is, because everything's running really smoothly right now. Alright, I'm starting to notice a little bit more slowdown here for the first time, but that's because things are loading up. But nonetheless, pretty much everything I throw at it, it does a pretty decent job. Nothing high-end here, of course, in terms of gaming, but overall, it's a solid tablet. It's better than any tablet that Walmart's released, the O&N lineup at least, from those 4. Yeah, I would definitely pick this. The only difference is that you kind of do get what you pay for. This one costs $50 more than the most expensive O&N tab 10.1 inch. This one goes for $150 at the time of this video. But again, it does have a solid camera, solid speakers, actually good speakers. You can watch videos at HD. It has a nice premium feel too, being made of metal. It's not too thick. So yeah, for $150, this is probably a solid all-around tablet. Probably one of the best so far of this year. But let me know what you guys think. Is there a better tablet out there? I'd love to know, and I'll definitely be checking out more, so stay tuned for that.